Jerry Duggan and Pepe Larraz make the X-Men superheroes again as Cyclops and Jean Grey lead the team to set up shop in New York and are immediately attacked by an unknown alien entity, while a mysterious billionaire plots against the mutant uprising on Mars. Jerry Duggan takes over the very big role of Shepherd for the new X-Men team, bringing them back into the more superheroic light, but also not forgetting all of the amazing work that Jonathan Hickman is doing and did do in other books. I love that Duggan found a balance here, giving us some more great Krakoan mysteries and drama, keeping that sinister undertone that all of these X-Men books have had under Hickman's run, while also giving us the first issue to be an explosive superhero romp. Returning to the sinister undertones for a minute, Scott's vague but ominous comments about dealing with Ben Urich if he becomes a problem thanks to asking his questions about dead mutants and how they are suddenly alive again was fantastic, and just the sort of stuff I've come to enjoy from the Hickman era of X-Men. The new threats for the team to battle as well are great as well. A billionaire who's been slighted by the mutants thanks to them terraforming Mars, and an alien super casino betting against Earth's destruction is two very different, very unique threats for the X-Men to deal with, and I'm looking forward to it all. Pepe Larraz helps bring in this new team with just his fast-paced, action-packed, and just brilliant-looking artwork, which in my opinion has become synonymous with the X-Men brand, seeing as he's done so much work through this Hickman era. I especially enjoyed the giant robot fight that took up most of this issue, with Pepe giving each blow the robot took and gave some awesome weight and power, and just looked fantastic. X-Men issue 1 was a fantastic new beginning to the mutant superhero team, bringing back an emphasis on superheroics while also not forgetting all of the amazing things Jonathan Hickman is currently doing with the mutants, building on all of his concepts quite flawlessly, while also introducing some new threats and concepts itself. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. X-Men issue 1 chronicles the life of Kevin Heng, a young genius who graduated MIT at age 13, hoping his ancestor, Nikola Tesla, would have been proud of him, but like his ancestor, he was very unlucky in business and taken advantage of when his first IPO made him $1 million in one day, with his parents thinking him a one-hit wonder, shorting his own stock, and taking all his money before disappearing on the 15-year-old. 5 years later though, Kevin came back under the name Fei Long, with his second IPO promising planet-sized innovations in biology and climate science, having terraformed a piece of Mars, something that was never been done before. As he kept planning to have his gift ready for humanity, the gods soon decided to mock him again as the mutants take Mars as their own and proclaim it as planet Araco. Fei Long had already changed his body for Mars's climate, and it was easier than changing the planet, and now everything he wanted in life was out of reach, making him wonder who will pay for this. The man knows the mutants will, as a few days ago, a huge real estate deal in New York happened that shook the entire city, but the neighborhoods didn't lose any sleep over their views becoming obstructed as a treehouse sprung up in the middle of New York overnight. In the mutant treehouse, Cyclops takes a selfie with a fan before meeting with Ben Urich, who introduces himself as a writer and the co-owner of the Daily Bugle. Scott tells the man to not let that responsibility get in the way of doing what he loves, since too many of them make that mistake, and he's a fantastic writer. Ben thinks he means for a human, but Scott says for anyone. Ben finds it incredible what they have done with this facility and what they were able to do overnight, wondering what the idea behind it was. Scott says, being honest, he loves to create since it makes him feel alive, and it was like when he was a child, hence why he made it a treehouse, hoping Ben likes it. The man says he sincerely does, since it's every kid's dream to live in a treehouse. Scott says if he's interested in one, he knows a guy, wanting Ben to have a look around, as the reporter says that Scott called his creation the Seneca Gardens, with most people not knowing the story behind it. Scott knows that even though the park is a monument to mutant achievements and to those whom have never been able to live again on Krakoa, they know it's important to honor the place where they set roots. Scott heads for a gateway as Ben knows that he has to go and save the world, wondering if his nice uniform is from the House of Carnation. Scott says it is, and if Ben wants one, he can set that up for him. Ben says he has one more question, wanting to know something about Jumbo's death, knowing that there was a lot of talk about it being an overdose or even a murder. Scott says that there is so much bad news in the world these days that when there is good news, he tends to just be grateful for it. Ben knows that there is a lot of unanswered questions about Jumbo's death, but not one of them was whether he was dead or not, since he was very dead since Ben visited the coroner, so how is he alive? Scott waves it off, saying goodbye as he telepathically contacts Jean on his way back to Krakoa, asking why he said they need to live in New York, since talking to reporters isn't good. Jean had been listening, wondering if Ben will be a problem, but Scott hopes he won't be, since he's a talented writer. Scott hopes that Jean isn't having second thoughts about them moving to New York, but the woman isn't. But the X-Men never had to fight the zoning board of Manhattan before. Scott knows that can all be left to X-Corp as the couple go and see Sync, asking Everett how the finishing touches are coming. The mutant says that it's easier now that he's synced with Forge, commenting on how maybe today Forge might be the most powerful mutant. Forge appears, saying that his ears were burning, saying that he's no better than Everett is. Polaris soon arrives with her bags from Krakoa, with Scott giving her a hand as he shows the new team member around the base, giving her the tour of the hangar where the Proud Star or maybe even Blackbird resides. They haven't really settled on a name though. He soon shows them the residential level and Wolverine's quarters, and Polaris says she needs to confess something, and Scott hopes it's not that she killed Scarlet Witch. The woman says that when she heard that they were living in a tree house, she almost threw a fit, but this is cooler than she ever imagined. After saying hello to Sync, Scott shows her the medbay, hoping they won't need to use it since they are only a short trip away from the healing gardens of Krakoa if things get bad. Polaris knows if they get even worse, there's always resurrection at Arbor Magna. Jean calls for the duo, telling them that she's getting a telepathic wave of excitement downtown since people are seeing a fireball in the sky, wanting Rogue to do a flyby. Rogue is already doing that, following the giant fireball, flying towards it and trying to change its trajectory to a nearby river. It works, but soon something begins growing out of the meteor, turning into a giant organic-like mech. Thing attacks Rogue, smashing her through buildings as the rest of the X-Men arrive. Polaris wants to show the creature what she can do with metal, reaching out with her powers, but she finds that it is made of metal, but it's not a metal she can control. The mech goes to hit her, but Rogue saves her, with Polaris saying that she owes her one, but Rogue knows it's early days of the team, so she'll be sure to collect later on. Regrouping, the team know they need to contain this until they can communicate with it, but Jean says there is no scannable mind in the creature. Sunfire wants to drive it back to the water, and he can deal with it, but before he can, the creature unleashes a massive burst of energy through the city. The energy overwhelms people's minds as Polaris wraps the team in a metal cocoon. Jean knows that while they are safe, the psychic attack is escalating. Sunfire knows that it was a microwave burst, which gives Sync an idea since he is still in contact with Forge. Wolverine wants to go and find a soft spot on the creature, but Jean knows that they need to do this quickly since she's shielding as many human minds as possible, but she can't shield them all. She shares Sync's plan with everyone, and Sunfire knows that they must do this. Everett tells the team that they need all the high quality steel they can get, something which Polaris already has a hand on, asking what else he needs. Sync says that they will hit harder and faster with some more solar panels and batteries for Sunfire to charge up, and they'll need a backup camera as well. The team get to work building, with Sunfire powering everything as the creature is confronted by the X-Men's very own mech. The team battle the giant creature, disrupting its attack as the monster's tentacles grab one of the robot's hands, ripping it off. Cyclops unleashes one of his optic blasts through the mech's weapon systems as Sunfire says he needs to be moved in closer, and Rogue says that she can do that, grabbing the monster by the neck and pulling it towards them as the bay doors on the robot's front open, allowing Sunfire to blast the monster with his fire. The creature, however, doesn't hold back as well, blasting the robot with its own energy wave. As the mutants are overcome with pain, Wolverine sees an opening, wanting to be kicked out of there. Launched at the robot, Wolverine slices straight through the creature and into its soft inner belly, wanting to keep cutting until it's down. Jean knows that thanks to Wolverine's attacks, the creature is no longer broadcasting. Soon Captain America contacts the team, saying the Avengers are 30 seconds out, as are the Fantastic Four. Jean says that the X-Men are on site and hopefully hopefully they'll have this all wrapped up by the time they get there. The creature soon falls, with Wolverine climbing out of the creature's stomach, saying that she needs a shower as the Avengers congratulate the X-Men on a good job. The Thing says that he would usually stay for high fives, but he's got a brisket in the smoker at home, only saying that he missed the X-Men. Jean says it's nice to hear from Ben, as Sync knows getting cheered for is going to take some getting used to. Scott tells the team that they did a good job and thinks a lot of great things will be coming their way, and as for the robot, he thinks the Krakoan archipelago in the Atlantic could use a new lighthouse, while they take the monster back to the treehouse to discover who threw it at Earth. Once back at the base, the team analyze the Thing, finding that it is a robot of a living or once living species with two purposes: psionically destroying mammalian brains and to replicate itself using whatever tech there was on Earth, and the robot isn't on any databases they have access to. Jean knows whomever is behind this missed their mark this time, so they'll have to be ready for the next time it happens. On Game World, the galaxy's worst of the worst bet on the robot to kill Earth's civilizations, but it loses, with one high roller losing quite big. Soon their host, Cordyceps Jones, is introduced by his underling Spimvar, toasting to his new clients for sticking with a change in management, and there is much more to wager on now since Earth has ruptured like a tumor, and it has got to go. So his contest is simple: beat the Earthlings but leave the planet intact, since there is no sense wasting a good planet, and it would be a perfect planet and neighborhood if not for the Earthlings. Deep under New Jersey in the Oblivion Institute, tests are run trying to resurrect a human body as Fei Long keeps the radiation levels the same as his last test. He knows humanity is born to die, but if he lived for a millennia it wouldn't be enough since there is so much to discover and accomplish. He continues his research, hooking himself up to a machine as the being in the test chamber is subject to high levels of radiation. Fei Long knows that if they don't adapt, they will go the way of the dodo, reminding himself to check the museum for any viable dodo DNA. The test subject survives a minute longer than the last iteration before dying, leaving Fei Long to know if he continues to double the results, he will be satisfied. He knows that he has laboured far too long to be eclipsed by inferiors, which he had found demoralizing, but he can continue to persevere because he must. Checking into his office, he knows that he needs to learn how he was bested, since Krakoa is a dangerous tumour on the planet and it will be the death of humanity, but before he can cut it out, he needs to know how the mutants are resurrecting their dead.